Hello, this video is going to be about something that's interested me for a while now, and that I hope will interest you, the immune system. The immune system is a part of the human body and is made of many extremely complicated little parts that all work together like a well-oiled machine. I'm going to be trying to explain those parts in a simple way. A small disclaimer before we get started though, I'm specifically going to be focusing on the adaptive immune system, which are the parts of the immune system that work together as a team to target and kill specific pathogens or small harmful things that can invade our body. Let's get started with the two basic cell types in the immune system, T cells and B cells. T cells can differentiate into a few different subtypes of cells. First are cytotoxic T cells. What they do is basically target the infected cell or the pathogen based off of these parts that they have called antigens. Then they trigger apoptosis, or cell death, in these cells, which causes them to basically explode. Helper T cells activate B cells and turn them into plasma cells or memory B cells. Both of these are cell types that we will talk about later, so if you're a bit confused right now, don't worry. Memory T cells are T cells that, after an infection with a pathogen, kind of remember the antigen of the pathogen so that they can identify it later. This allows the memory T cells to help in a later immune response against that same pathogen. The presence of memory immune cells means a faster response to later infections. So these are kind of like the wise old men of the immune system. B cells turn into plasma cells because of helper T cells. These plasma cells then create antibodies, which are these small proteins that help clump up the pathogens or infected cells together so that cytotoxic T cells can destroy them more effectively. Put more simply, these antibodies kind of act as a glue to stick those pathogens or infected cells together so that it slows them down and helps the cytotoxic T cells identify them more quickly. Memory B cells serve a similar function to memory T cells. They remember the antigens that mean a pathogen has infected the body so that there can be a faster response next time. So memory B cells are also kind of like the wise old men of the immune system. The immune cells are usually there to attack other pathogens. These are attackers of our body like bacteria and viruses or cells infected by those pathogens. And they identify these pathogens or infected cells by parts of them that turn up, that are on their surface called antigens, which is what I've been referring to. However, there are some cases where your own body could turn against you and attack human cells. When this happens, it's called an autoimmune disease. Now, you may be asking, why doesn't the body have a set of rules or something so that the cytotoxic T cells, remember those are the ones that destroy cells, don't destroy our own cells? Well, they do have that. There's this organ that you have called the thymus that sits right in between your lungs, and it's like a sort of training ground for your T cells, sort of like a school. It has a bunch of antigens of pathogens and also proteins that human body cells have, so that the T cells can see which ones they recognize. If a T cell recognizes human cell proteins, that means that cytotoxic T cells that evolve from them will try to destroy human cells, and we don't want that. So, if there's a T cell that binds to the human cell protein, it's the end of the line for them. That way, our immune system ensures that cytotoxic T cells can't attack cells in our own body. But sometimes there are cytotoxic T cells, or T cells that get past that. In addition, there's a relatively new discovery that's been made called regulatory T cells. These regulatory T cells act like the police of your immune system, and if a cytotoxic T cell tries to destroy a human body cell, it quickly shuts down that operation by either suppressing the function or growth of that cytotoxic T cell or destroying it completely. So, yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and if it taught you something new, please like and subscribe.